This is the Haibike Fatsix. It's a fat tire style bike with an awesome electric drive system and front suspension from Haibike. This thing's pretty amazing. I think in 2014, 2015, these fat style bikes really started to catch on, and maybe earlier than that in the standard bicycle scene, but really in the electric bike scene. I saw a lot of them at Interbike, and one of the other ones that I saw was the Felt Lebowski. It's priced about the same as this. They're both about $5,800. With the differences that I noticed is that the Lebowski is a little bit lighter. This one's 53 pounds, which isn't too bad, but the Lebowski does not have this front suspension, which is pretty awesome. Like, this thing is really rugged. First of all, you got these 26-inch by 4-inch huge knobby tires, and the rims here, the Alex rims, are designed to be super lightweight. You can see the cutouts here, and you can see all the way down through to the tube. The suspension fork itself is an air fork, so that keeps it relatively lightweight, and it's got a remote lockout, so you can activate that or deactivate while you're riding. And that's just, I mean, it's really neat to see this kind of stuff. It's got a 15 millimeter through axle on the front, 180 millimeter disc brakes, front and rear, hydraulic, so top of the line stuff. And again, you are paying a premium for the design, but also for the drive system and for the Haibike. And you can see all the cables are routed through the frame. There's this cool kind of like orange camo looking color scheme that's really, really visually appealing. And overall, just an awesome bike. One of the things that I love about mid-drive bikes like this is that you can take the wheels off easily. So see, there's quick release on the front and the rear. It's on the other side. There it is. That's awesome when you've got a bike that's as huge as this, right? Because these tires and everything, they just take up a lot of space. And if you're trying to shove this in your car or even the back of your truck or something, it's nice to be able to take the wheels off. But that also makes it more serviceable. You take it into a shop and you need to true the wheels or replace a tire or fix a tube or something. They can handle it just like a normal bike. And what we've got here is a 10-speed Shimano Dure XT Shadow, which is pretty premium components. And you'll see how the chain is kind of lined up. There's like a little spacer here on the front, little chain ring there, and that's designed to help it fit, because really the Bosch system doesn't really work with too many fat style bikes without modifying it a little bit like that. Another difference here, the Lebowski, they had sort of CNC'd, like laser cut the frame to fit perfectly with the narrower Bosch drive. I think in the case of this Haibike Fatsix, what they did was gravity cast, and then you can see that they've welded it, and really everything's super burly, but that's a little bit heavier. So that's what I was talking about, stiffness and weight. This is still a really excellent setup, and with the suspension fork, I like this suspension a lot. It's nice to be able to have that, especially if you are going off-road in the woods and stuff. But I'm also someone who has kind of neck and back pain sometimes, and this is a little bit more of an aggressive ride. You're kind of leaning forwards and potentially taking those hits, and the tires do soften it a little bit, but the suspension is cool. This bike does come in 3 different sizes, so you can get it in 42 centimeter, 46, or 50 centimeters. So it's kind of neat to be able to fit this to your body type and just really dial it in. I like that. And I think it's kind of all the bike specs there. Maybe it's a good time to jump into the drive system. So this is Bosch. This is their 2nd generation center drive. It offers 350 watts of geared mid-drive power. And being geared allows it to stay a little bit lighter weight and be more compact right here. This plastic shell, that's just a protective casing. The motor is a little smaller, it's inside. It's pretty sweet, just what they've managed to do. The motor actually senses your cadence, your pedal cadence, as well as the torque, like how hard you're pushing, and it measures your speed. So you can see this little sensor there with the magnet. All 3 of those things are kind of measured and factored in 1,000 times per second. So as soon as you push down on that pedal, it's responding. And as soon as you stop, it backs off. And that's critical if you're going to be off-road and maybe there are logs and sticks and things around, and you've got to be like on your toes. It's nice to have a system that can match or closely match your human abilities of just instantaneous feedback and response. The battery here, it's about 396 watt hours, but they call it the 400, they round up. It offers 36 volts of power, 11 amp hours of capacity, and that's a touch above average. And when combined with that mid drive, you just get an excellent ride. Great distance that this can go. There are 4 levels of assist, and in the lowest level of assist, you can get like 60 plus miles on, you know, flat terrain with a not windy day. So that's kind of like optimal, but that's still a spectacular for one battery pack. Battery is removable, so you can see there's a metal keyhole there, and that's made by Abus, and they make locks in Germany. They're a really good company, so it's solid. The battery pack, you put the key in, pop this thing off, and you can carry it around, and you can charge it inside, you know, just like that. That's the charging port, so you can leave it on the bike or take it off the bike. And with something this big, I can imagine, you know, it gets dirty. It's kind of dirty right now, in fact, and you leave it out in the garage, but you want to take the battery in, you want to top that off kind of after every ride, any significant ride at least, and every few months if you haven't ridden it. Keep it in a neutral temperature, and that's all of those things are going to extend the life. When these get really hot, that's bad for the battery. When they go all the way down, that's also hard on it. So there's some tips for you to make this thing last. You can get replacement battery packs from Bosch, but I think it's like 700, 800 bucks. So you want to take care of that, and should last you, you know, 1,000 plus cycles. You got a good warranty here with the Haibike, so you're in good hands. And the other thing I was mentioning, you know, is efficiency. Like, because, you know, as you pedal, you're leveraging the gears, the motor also benefits from that, and so it's not going to be struggling like a hub motor would. And, you know, again, you bring all that motor weight, that battery weight right there in the center of the bike, and it just makes for a really balanced ride, and that's ideal for off-road conditions. One thing this bike doesn't have is a throttle, like a twist throttle. I think Pedigo and a couple other electric bike companies, they have twist throttle only fat bikes where it's just like, woohoo, you know, you get on and go. This is a higher performance, and it's different. You know, the idea is that the bike is kind of complementing you as a rider and responding efficiently. So I'm gonna go ahead and, oh, before I do that, I wanted to mention, check this out. This kind of reminds me of like a Presta valve, how it's like screwed on there, the tube valve, but it's actually Schrader. You know, it's this really big, it's like a car tire or something. It's like a metal valve here. Just really interesting to see that. It's kind of my first time seeing something like that. Okay, so to activate this bike, once the battery's charged and on, you press the power button, and the display lights up here. Oh, I turned it off, my bad. Press the power button, wait a second. Okay, and when it powered up, for me it shows the max speed, but it kind of depends on where you left it. And up here, you can see the miles per hour, so how fast you're going. You can change that to kilometers per hour, and then your assist level as well as your battery capacity, right? So it's a pretty sweet display. And I meant to mention, you can swivel it a little bit forward and backwards to reduce glare, and it's removable. So you push this down and it slides right off. So you can take that off along with the battery pack and then leave the rest of the bike like in your garage, and you'll be fine. And maybe at a bike rack, no one will tamper with that because you take it off. There is also a set screw that you can bolt it onto the bike, so it's kind of up to you what you want to do. Okay, so you can navigate the assist levels with this conveniently located remote button pad, and you don't have to even take your hand off of the grip here. You just reach right over. So right now I'm in off, so this is just basically a cycle computer telling me how fast I'm going. As soon as I arrow up, you can see Eco, Tour, Sport, and Turbo. And Turbo is like 275% of the energy you put in, you'll get back. Whereas Eco is like 50%. So it's like 50, 150, you know, I don't know, 200 or something, 275. So it's pretty cool. It really, really complements you as a rider. And if you go through the information displays here, you can see miles per hour, average speed, trip time, and range. Range is my favorite because based on the level of assist you're in, it actually approximates how far it thinks you can go based on the last like 5 miles of performance or something. And so right now it's at like 53 miles is what it's estimated. And this battery isn't even full, right? So I was saying 60 earlier. It's probably 60 plus. That's Eco. Tour, it's saying 27 miles. Sport, 22 miles. And Turbo, 20 miles. So, you know, if you're in turbo mode and you realize, man, I got to go more than 20 miles to get back to my truck, well, you can arrow it down to like eco, and now you've got 50 miles of range, and you're like, okay, great, I'm not going to run out and have to walk this thing back. It's really sweet, and that's, you know, that's the Bosch system at work there. I'm just going to hop on and let you see what this thing is like to ride. And let's see, I think I'll start off in turbo mode just so you can see it. Watch when I stop pedaling. You know, look at that chain ring and notice how quickly it responds. It's pretty quick, not bad at all. And there's that suspension fork. Woo! Really getting you some, just, it's cushy, you know? It's a lot of fun to ride this thing around. Nice, and this is speed limited to 20 miles per hour. So once you get to that level, you can go faster, but it's really you pedaling. You might notice there's also this little bar graph here that kind of like rises as the motor puts out more work. And that's one way to kind of see how the bike is responding. When you go to eco mode, you know, it's a lot lower. See, so it's spending less energy, and that's going to give you better range. Okay, well, that is the Fatsix from Haibike. New one for 2015. For the full write-up on this with specs and pictures and other Haibike reviews, I'll see you back at ElectricBikeReview.com.